Welcome back, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the WhistlePig Straight Rye 10-year-old. So, WhistlePig, not a distillery exactly. It's a company up in Vermont, which is in the New England area of the United States, if you're not familiar, that sources from Alberta, Canada. So these WhistlePigs have a nice little pamphlet that kind of goes over a few things as far as the whiskey production, the cask maturation. It tells you here, 63% Madeira cask, 7% port cask, as well as 30% another French wine type of cask. But essentially, these WhistlePigs, again, are sourced from Alberta, Canada, and then a company in Vermont actually bottles them. This is the standard 10-year-old rye, straight rye to be exact, 100 proof or 50% ABV. Now, I have seen some WhistlePigs that were store picks and some ones that are higher ABVs. I've seen ones like 107 proof. I want to say one was 120 proof. So if you're familiar with, say, Knob Creek 120 proof bourbon, they do a lot of private barrels for bars, online distributors, and a few other people. So you can also pick up some WhistlePigs that are store picks and do a few other things. I will say in all those scenarios, the other ones I've tried have been really good as well. But like with any store pick, whether it's a restaurant or it's a distributor, know that you are going off of somebody else's opinion on what they think is the best characteristics of this WhistlePig and what kind of flavor profile they wanted to essentially focus on for their private bottling. So there's variation is what I'm trying to say. So, WhistlePig 10 rye, like I said, from Alberta, Canada, yada yada, natural color. It's kind of a light, strawish gold color. Very, very nice. I'll try to strip a paper towel here to kind of show you the color a little bit better. I've been not doing that great job of showing you guys the color with the white background lately. Like to get back to doing that. But let's take a first and let's see what we think. From the first time I ever smelled this whiskey, I was so impressed with it. There's a lot going on here. I mean, you get ginger, very similar to a ginger you would get, say, in a Macallan without the sherry notes. You get nutmeg, you get clove, ton of spices, which from a rye, that makes sense. There's caramel. There's a very sweet, sweet caramel, sweet oak. A little bit of cinnamon in this one too. Less cinnamon than I would have assumed being with a rye. And this is a characteristic that I usually get in scotches, but I'm gonna say like a doughy characteristic as well. A doughy, wet bread or moist bread to some degree, like you're about to make cookies or something before you threw in the sugar, just got the flour and you're kind of mixing things up. That type of a doughy note. Or if you've ever said, I'm sure you guys have seen the donuts where you have like cinnamon, white powder, and plain. Imagine a plain donut that's warm before it gets packaged into the box. Sort of that smell. But again, that lovely orange citrus with all of those spices and that doughy note really kind of bring it all together. All right, first sip time. Instantly caramel, strawberry, raspberry, cherry, some type of red berry. A little elusive on the palate to pick out that one. Cinnamon coming in the aftertaste. Oak. And some of those really nice spices. You get that clove. Something else, like almost like a parsley. Not a taste, but like the smell of parsley, like you get a little bit of that on the finish. It's a little bitter on the end too, as far as the aftertaste. It's very, though, herbs and spices. It's almost like a spice rack as far as the smell and some of the taste and all. There's almost, now that's been sitting on my palate for a minute, almost like a potpourri. Not a strong potpourri, but like just a light potpourri right there in the tongue last minute as well. All right, so I put a couple drops of water in here. I think I just added 2 small drops because even at 50% ABV, it drinks fairly light. Not meaning it doesn't have nice flavor, but I think since it's such a spice-heavy whiskey, that it kind of gives you the illusion that it is not as high of an ABV as it really is. So with water, let's see what it does. That ginger is still right there the first time you smell it. The orange zestiness is more predominant with water. Then there's that clove, that nutmeg, that sweet caramel and dough. And the cinnamon with water is almost unnoticeable at this point. Which again is a surprise for 100% straight rye, at least in my opinion. I was expecting to see more cinnamon. Not that that's a bad thing, not at all. That's the difference between expectation and when you actually get to try the whiskey and sit down with it for a while. This is probably a good time to thank my good friend Keith from the Malted Man Cave for giving me the rest of this bottle. He gave me literally half this bottle. So I've been able to have it, actually share it with a few friends over the past 3-4 months. And for the moment I had this whiskey, it was a beautiful whiskey, and even though it's kind of down to the end here, we should say, it still kept a very similar profile. And it really didn't diminish at all with that much air in the bottle. So this is one you can take your time with, and if you want to keep it for a while to share with some friends, don't be scared that it's going to go flat on you. All right, I threw a little bit of water in there. Let's see what happens on the taste. Still the caramel, spice, clove, nutmeg. Red berries are almost gone. Cinnamons are almost gone. Much more bitter on the palate with the water. Almost like espresso bean, I would say. I'm a huge espresso drinker. Actually, we have a great company here locally in Columbus, Stoff's Coffee. I get the whole bean, grind them up every morning, have a pump-driven espresso machine, and there is like that gritty, ground-up espresso bean flavor on the palate. It's almost like, you had a dark roast espresso, had no sugar on it, took that, and the aftertaste, that bitterness is right there with a little bit of oak as well. So this is going to be a terribly long review. This particular WhistlePig, again, just this lovely spices, a little bit of cinnamon, ginger, caramel, oak. Really nice experience if you get your hands on it. Usually these aren't too expensive. I can find these regularly here in Columbus, Ohio. I think they are around $60 to $70 roughly. Keith, I'm probably wrong, but feel free to correct me in the comment section, and that goes for any of you. So until next time, I'm going to give this a whiskey score of an 87 out of 100. It's a good bourbon, but an overall whiskey score of an 87 out of 100, which is still strong. I would still pick this up if you can find it for $80 or less around you. Very, very nice whiskey experience. I would definitely recommend it. And until next time, I'll see you in the comment section. Happy drinking.